So if you're using a Whirly pot to roast coffee in, you know that the wire on the end that stirs the beans is, well, it's just a wire, and it really doesn't agitate the beans very much. So in the past, I've actually gone to, every once in a while, just giving the beans a good shake physically, lifting the pan up and shaking it to try to get a more even roast. And also, which is very, very important, is if you're using the Whirly Pop, is you have to have a cast iron skillet underneath it to distribute the heat, because the thin aluminum, or even if you have the stainless steel version, is not thick enough to spread the heat around enough. So what I have done to overcome the issue with the wire is I've added just a strip of aluminum flashing. You can use any other metal, preferably not lead, and crimp that over the wire and kind of bend it up right there so that it forces the beans to go up and over the metal, and that does rotate the beans so that it can get roasted on all sides. I didn't put it on both of them. Jury's still out as to whether I need them on both or not. You can put them on both, obviously. But just going around once with this should be enough to agitate the beans. It goes around about 40 to 60 times a minute, depending on what speed your motor is. Unless you're hand cranking it, then you can do whatever you want. But I highly recommend putting a motor on it, because sitting there cranking a Whirly Pop for 20 minutes is not fun. It also allows you to do other things. You know, obviously you don't leave it unattended, but it allows you to do other things. And of course, you got to have a thermometer so that you can watch the temperature. If anybody have any questions, please put them in the comments. I do sell kits with the motors, the heat shield, the wires, and the power supply, and the coupler. This one is made so that it attaches directly to the existing, I don't know what you call this, the guard that goes over the gears. It attaches to that. I also have a version where you cut that and then you use a hose clamp to clamp the motor to the Whirly Pop, so it doesn't turn, the motor doesn't turn, but rather it turns the stirrer like it should. And some of you may notice that this is well coated for many roastings. Now, it looks bad, but as long as you don't disturb it, it doesn't get in your beans, and when you blow the chaff off your beans, so if this is on, it'll blow that off as well. Now, if you are rather persnickety about something like this, you can take coffee cleaner, which is like a calcium carbonate type solid. You can buy the solid coffee cleaner, and this will take it off. May take a little soaking in some steel wool to cut through it. I think what happens though when you leave this on here is that the black absorbs the heat and tends to, I don't know, it probably changes the heating characteristics to some degree. Don't know if it helps or hurts, or if you're just, as long as you try to stay consistent from one roast to the next, I think that's the most important thing. And some people are concerned about using aluminum pots when they cook. Now, you're not exactly cooking, but you are roasting and using heat. If you notice, though, if you don't wash your pot, the aluminum gets coated. It almost looks like black, shiny paint in there at the bottom. So that does cover up the aluminum. And after a few roasts, now there's still some aluminum exposed on in the middle part. The top is got more of what was on the lid. But if you use it long enough, the aluminum will get covered up.